Let's see if it'll work. All right. Now, what's going on, everybody? We have no image. What in the world is going on with this thing? Can you guys hear what I'm saying? I don't know if this is working. The weird thing is that it's feeding. I use StreamYard, and I can see the feed running into StreamYard, but it won't stream it. It's not sending it to YouTube for some reason. What is going on here? Check. I don't even hear anything. It's working? So you can see me? Because I tell you what, I cannot see, or here, I'll show you. Well, at the risk of, I don't know if you can see this, you can see there's nothing on this screen. Like, I don't know what the deal is. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and roll with it, even though I have no idea what you're looking at. I think that I have to turn this. Okay, well, we're going to go with it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show. We're here. I had to restart the stream because I thought it was doing this weird. It's weird. I'm just going to go blind, and I don't know if this is this working? Okay, that's ready. All right, I'm going to just go with it blind. Okay, so what's going on? How y'all doing? How was your weekend? Hope it was good. Mine was pretty good. I didn't do too much. I'm working on the new video for a release next Saturday, this coming Saturday. It's about my trip to a place called Sano in Japan. But today I thought we would talk about something called Ensaïmada. And Ensaïmada is a Filipino dessert, not dessert. It's a Filipino baked good that's really one of my favorites, really popular. It's not too well known. And let me show it to you right here. This is the Ensaïmada. Mom, can you see that? Like, is it switching between the camera? It should be switching. I'm going to presume that it is. And yeah, there it is. So this is the Ensaïmada. So what it is, it's basically a brioche dough that is lightly sweet, that is covered with butter and then a little bit of sugar. And then this is a cheese. And I believe this cheese is what we call queso de bola. And queso de bola is this nice, like savory type of cheese that is really quite fun and quite ubiquitous. Sometimes you'll see people use cheddar cheese. That's fine too. It's really kind of about what you have available to you, especially here. But let's talk a little bit about this. Why are we even looking at this? This is made by a little bakery, or should I say a little baker here in Baltimore that I'm talking to. And one of my friends gave her mom. One of my friends knows this person, gave her mom some of these, who gave my mom, and then who gave it to me to try. And I was really, really impressed by it. And I thought, well, maybe this would be a nice thing to add to the new Spro as one of our baked good items. So this is really a nice little dish. This one's small. They do come in bigger ones, right? But I thought this is a nice size for starting out your day. Nice to go with your coffee. And basically, it's a brioche dough that you use with flour, a little bit of salt, water, butter, and you're kind of trying to make it like a flaky, doughy, soft, chewy, really like pillowy. Ideally, it's pillowy. Like you can have many different ones and go to many different bakers, and they'll be very different. And I like it chewy and pillowy and soft and fluffy. I don't like it to be dry. You know how brioche dough, like if you get the brioche buns, they tend to be like everyone's like, oh, brioche, 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 brioche. But you know what? Most of the time, those brioche buns kind of suck. Like they're kind of like dry and like crumbly, and it's like it's never too exciting. So this one I thought was really good, and I only had like one. So I was like, so I called up this person. I was like, hey, could you make me some like 2 dozen worth? And they did, and so I was like, okay, let me eat them up. So I've been eating them. I picked them up on Friday. I've kind of been eating them nonstop for the last 4 days. This is really my weekend here, is eating ensaymada, trying to see how it performs. What do I like about it? What do I not like? What might we be able to improve and tweak the technique a little bit? There's a couple of things that I've thought about that I think will be interesting to try. But the real idea is that you're going to have ensaymada, and what it's basically, it comes from the Spanish days of invasion to the Philippines, right? The Spanish, 400 years ago, invaded the Philippines and wiped out the population. Well, they wiped out the population. They basically came in, beat down the locals, and unlike Latin America, they didn't teach them the language, right? The friars, the priests, the monks. In Latin America, they came in, they taught them the language. So the Filipinos don't speak Spanish per se. There's a lot of Spanish words that are interspersed in our language, but we're not a Spanish-speaking country because, I don't know, they thought we were more, more native than the Latinos, and just didn't do that for whatever reason. Maybe because they thought they had better control. The less knowledge a people has when being invaded and ruled over, the better and the easier for control. So maybe that's what it was. Maybe they learned their lessons from Latin America and then decided, we're not going to teach these people the language because then they'll speak our language. What are the case may be? This is something that comes from Ensaïmada de Mallorca. So there is a way of spelling it. Ensaïm, it's siam. So it's actually a S. You'll see in the description SI with these umlauts, AM. And when I ran it through the translator, it was siam. I think it was siam. I think that's what it was. And it reminded me of something that I was hearing or reading the other day, that many, many years ago, Spain, the Spanish peninsula, was Muslim, was ruled by the Moors and Muslim, and eventually that all changed. But basically, as it changed, and after the church drove the Muslims out, the Moors out of Spain, or at least control of it, and they started becoming more Spanish. They wanted to create their language to be more Spanish. They started to cut out Arabic style words and pronunciation. And I think, oh God, how does it pronounce? I have to run through the translation. Siam. It was very. When I heard the translator say it, I was like, oh, this is definitely one of those very Arabic kind of words, and because of very Arabic pronunciation. And this professor whose article I was reading, they were talking about how in olden days, they were trying to purge the Spanish language of Arabic type of words and Arabic style pronunciation, but they didn't do as much. They didn't do as good a job in that as the Portuguese. Like the Portuguese were really like brutal in their excising of Arabic words. That's why, like, when you listen to Portuguese, there's similarities to Spanish, but it's so different because they really were about cutting all that out. So I thought that was interesting. But the Spanish coming to the Philippines, they brought this recipe, and it's essentially the same, where this word siam is actually the term in Catalan for lard. So you're using lard and flour to create a fluffy, kind of flaky dough that's spiraled with butter, or I think they put lard on top and they put sugar. The Filipino version is very similar, except we use butter, right? Or in the Philippines, depending who you go to, could be margarine, right? But they use a lot of butter and to create those flaky layers, and then they put a little bit of butter on top, a little bit of sugar, and then the shredded cheese. Sometimes you can buy it without the cheese if you don't want it. That's fine. Also, you can also go to different places, and they'll have different things rolled in, like makapuno, which is this coconut string, like preserved coconut string. They'll have ube, which is very popular now. Ube will be rolled in it. They will have, my favorite one is to have the ham. Nobody does that anymore. But like when I was younger, you could buy the ham croissant. They roll the ham inside it. So good. That's To me, that's the ideal one. Like maybe if you get like a nice prosciutto, like a cured ham, like thin, maybe a little bit dry, so it's nice and salty. So you get the salty and the sweet, the balance there. I like that a lot. But today, yeah, good to see you, man. Good to see you. I don't know if you just watched it, if you're just joining us. I cannot see what's happening, so I'm just kind of going off the cuff, right? My monitor is not monitoring. So why are we doing this? We're going to take this. We're going to make. We're going to taste it, and we're going to brew it with our house coffee, the House Nation. So let's get that ready. Here we are. A little bit. I'm running out. I'm going to have to run over to the roasting space. Actually, oh, that's right. I have to remember I'm roasting on Wednesday. So Wednesday, I think if it's all right with my friend Sarah, we're going to go to her roastery and perhaps live stream from there on Wednesday. All right, let's get this going. I hope you can see that. I'm just guessing. Again, 24 grams. We're going to do our basic recipe. 25. All right, excellent. Then we're going to get our scale, the Barazza Virtuoso. Here's something I remember when I was kind of playing with this over the weekend, and I was adjusting it to make a added clever, and I was making it really coarse, and then suddenly it wouldn't stop. It would stop working. No matter how many times I pressed the go button, it wouldn't work. One thing I remember, if you have the Barazza Virtuoso, you cannot go. How you take it off? You turn it all the way this way, and then you pull it off, right? But once you get past the last click, it actually has a safety valve, so I can't start it, right, if it's off. But it will start. Oh, I gotta set the quantity. See, it's not working. Okay, so we're gonna go to the middle setting. I think we were there last week. Let's grind. So in case you're wondering, what am I wearing today? This is what we call the Barong Tagalog. The Barong Tagalog is our traditional garments for formal wear. This is the formal wear version. So as you can see, it has a lot of intricate embroidery as well as cutouts. So there's like a latticing that's happening here. And, it's made from a nice like pina. Well, this is not, maybe this is pina cloth. So the finest of the Philippine fabrics is made with something called pina cloth, derived from the pineapple. It's a very delicate, but very lightweight and very like sheen, but also rather durable. And the nice thing about this is because Philippines is a tropical country, it's very light wearing, right? You can be pretty airy in it. And now, as you can see, typically this is the formal version, right? This is where you wear what you would wear for more formal events and occasions. And this was a custom made for me by this guy in Quezon City many years ago, and I surprised that I actually still fit in it. I probably don't fit in it so well if I'm sitting. You guys know how that goes, and. But wow, I haven't worn this one in a while. I was like looking for the other one that I had, but I couldn't find it. So I just saw this in the closet. I was like, maybe this will fit. And yeah, not too bad, not too bad. But as you can see, I'm wearing a black T-shirt underneath. Now, traditionally, did we stop? Craig, good morning. Did it stop streaming? I just realized that the what do you call it? This the computer went to sleep, so I don't know if it stopped streaming or not. And well, good morning, Craig. Anyway, so let's get to the coffee here. Babbling too much. So now we've got our coffee. We're going to get our filter. Oh, it's frozen. Are we still rolling then? Did it resume? Oh, okay, got it. Okay, got it. All right, so, whoa, where's this camera? Like I was telling Mom when we first started this second version of the stream, my monitor, for whatever reason, like I have the YouTube studio window open, but it's just black. And the other software that I use to stream that I'm feeding through the same computer, it's receiving the signal and the image, but I can't see it on. I don't know what the deal is with that. It's very strange. All right, let's continue. We're gonna take our uh, our nice origami filter, put that in there. Take our 24 grams of medium ground coffee. Oh no, all of this technical confusion. I forgot to turn on the water. There's always something on a live stream that kind of like makes it more interesting. All right, we're gonna do that. So let's get this. We'll get all of this sorted while the water heats up. There's not too much water in there, so it shouldn't take too long. But like I was saying, so these barongs are very nice. They're very comfortable. I don't know, you can buy them online, Barongs R Us or something like that. Barongs.com, BARONGS.com. So if you're ever going to a Filipino event, you wear this. You know, people will be impressed. People will be impressed. I have to buy new ones because every time I wear it to an event, the girls are always pulling at it and tearing it. So it's very nice. It's very nice. And it's going to take a couple minutes while that heats up. But there's also a wide variety of barongs that are used that are available too, right? Like you'll have a lot of like people in service that are wearing more modified barongs, a little bit less, more uniform looking and less and not so and more casual in this, but more uniform like in that, you know, you may have like some people will have their staff in barongs that are not this pina cloth. They're more of a cotton polyester blend that doesn't crumple, right? And so they'll have like in blues or whatever colors they'll have it, and you'll see a lot of those guys around. You know, it's a nicer presentation and comfortable, especially in hot tropical weather when you're talking about 35 to 37 degrees with like crazy amounts of humidity. Yeah, but yeah, once in a while, it just feels kind of comfortable. So today's coffee, of course, is the House Nation, and the reason we're pairing the two together is because I think that this can be really a wonderful pairing, right? It's really great to have coffee and ensaïmada together. I think the flavors go well, and as you can see, this one is a little bit. There's a little bit of meltiness here because like what they do is they cream the butter, whip the butter so it's easy to spread. And then this one, I hit the microwave a little bit just to warm up the center. Like I was keeping it frozen for the last couple of days just because I want to see like how well can we freeze this and recover from it to see like if we need to buy, like I don't know what the logistics are going to be yet with supplying this and keeping it enough in stock. And hopefully there'll be a good demand. I would like to see more Filipino style baked goods become more ubiquitous in the American lexicon. You know, it'd be nice. All right, we're almost there. Let's reset this. So did you guys do anything interesting this weekend? Besides doing the editing, I didn't do too much. I went to Harbor Freight. I needed another moving blanket to keep in the truck. My brother's been moving his stuff around, so he borrowed all my. He ended up using all of my all the straps that I keep in the truck, as well as the moving blankets. I'm like, oh goodness, now I have to go get another one, which is fine. I got a nice big one because I found that after we did the move right originally from the roastery, one of these moving blankets ended up in the truck over the last couple of months. I'm really like finding a good amount of utility for having this moving blanket for a variety, you know, whatever I might be moving or whatever I might need to pack or protect. It's really something to think about. And Harbor Freight has small ones. I got the I think I got the 52 by 48 or 70 by 48 or 70 by 80, something like that. It was like $9, so really, really affordable. Of course, it's not super thick like some of the really premium moving blankets, but you know, for general use, it's perfectly fine. We're almost there. It's starting to steam. Then what else did we do? Made some spaghetti Napolitano over the weekend. And then last night made some sausage, peppers, potatoes, and chicken, that Italian style dish, that Romanesque style dish. That turned out well. All right, we're almost there. All right, I think that's good. All right, so now we're going to transfer that into our... One of the things that, since we've been doing this live stream again, I've been using this portable butane burner. And at the old shop, at the bar, we were using, what do you call it? Induction. Let's see, we're going to start, whoops. So start off with 75 grams for initial bloom, more or less. We'll let that fall in. If you can see but using butane or open flame, you know, I haven't really done too much of that over the last couple of years because, well, at least for coffee, so it just boils the water in a different way. So again, we're just going to work on keeping our water level to a particular height so that the coffee is always being saturated. I like this method because it's just really a simple approach. It doesn't require much training. It doesn't require too much thinking about it. You just need to keep in mind that you want to keep your water level saturated, and you just need to pour enough to keep it saturated. So 178.4, we're about a minute 20. We're going to go a little bit slower with this now. No, it feels like it's going a little bit fast, but maybe it's not. Again, the whole idea is we're going to use the coffee itself as the resistance to the water, right? The coffee is going to provide the resistance that we need, as well as the resistance that we can change. So on a big orificed brewer like this origami, we probably will end up being a little bit on the finer side than if we were using something that's more restricted like the bee house. Right, 233. See, we're a little bit fast. I feel like we're a little bit fast, 240 and just 2 minutes. So we're a little bit on the faster side. So maybe we could have gone a little bit finer on the grind. $276. Well, you know, maybe we're all right. Yeah, I don't understand this computer thing. But I'm glad that it is streaming to you, so. Okay, 323, 249. We're a little bit fast. This is definitely on the faster side. So for sure, we want to be a little bit coarser next time. Okay, 350 is our target water dispensing. All right, so we're going to wait till 330, and that should be, you know, just at the very bottom of the curve for us. Like, yeah, it's just dripping out now, so. All right, there it is. Our elixir We're going to get our oh, it's only a 10-ounce cup. I got to keep that in mind. All right, let's see how it is. I made pizza for lunch yesterday. I kind of scorched the top of my palate because I was just too eager to start biting into the slice. This one's a little bit on the brighter side, right? That brew makes it a little bit brighter. All right, let's get into the Ensaïmada because, honestly, I would like it to be a little bit less bright. So next time, a little bit coarser, maybe in the 20 setting. I mean, a little bit finer so we get a little more extraction. I think the extraction is not as good. So it's a lighter, brighter coffee. If you like lighter, brighter coffees, that's probably the way to go. All right, so let's have a look at here. This is our Ensaïmada. Now, it normally will come wrapped in a like a muffin, whatever paper. But I'm just going to take it all the way out just so that I don't have to muck with it. But as you can see, yeah, there it is. It's got a nice little crumb to it there. I'm just going to bite into it. All right, so I can see it's a bit fluffy here in the crumb. The crumb is really nice, right? And that's a pretty nice pairing. But the thing is with this particular one, this is what I've been debating on. And there's a big chain out there called Goldilocks, and they're like one of the biggest like Philippine bakeries in the Philippines, and they also have distribution here in the United States. I think they bake out of California here, and then they distribute to different shops. I bought one from a local shop just as a comparison. And the one thing that I have, and I was thinking that I thought the Goldilocks would be a lot sweeter, but it's not terribly sweet. It's actually kind of balanced. Because when I first had this again, my first thought was that it was not as sweet as it should be. Well, like I said, there is, of course, a little bit of sugar used in the production of the brioche, I believe. And then on top, they're putting whipped butter and then a layer of sugar and then the cheese. But the cheese, this particular queso de bola has a real beautiful savory flavor, but I feel like it's too much. It's not, it's strong. It's very strong. It kind of overshadows the rest of the Ensaïmada. So on previous batch or on other ones that I've eaten this weekend, I've added just regular sugar on top of it just to see if that balances out. And I think that if you add a little bit more sugar, it really balances it out beautifully. Like to me, this is a little bit too much savory. I would like more sweetness. Walter says it's too much. It's up there. I think you're right. Well, no, I don't think. You think the cheese is too much? I know. I think the cheese is okay. I think the cheese is okay, but I just would like more sugar. But look at the crumb. The crumb is nice. Yeah, I hear you on that, Walter. Balance is better. And that's what I'm going to talk to the baker about it. Hey, but I wanted to make sure before I talk to the baker that I have really gone through all of the processes. So it's not just like, hey, there's something I don't like about it. Well, what is it? Well, it's too much savory. And how can we balance? What can we do? So I want to be able to come and talk potential solutions. A big sugar. I don't know. Big sugar. You mean like the ones you see on those muffins? Those crazy big? I don't know, man. I don't know. We might have to try that. We might have to try that. But in my testing, if I was just to sprinkle just a little more sugar on top, it really balances out, really brings it together. Now, I will say that when oh, sorry, I'm doing the wrong one. Oh, like the Liège waffles. Yes, I get you. Like I'm gonna say here, like if you look at this crumb, right, nice and airy. Now I have to say, I don't know if it's because it was frozen and then thawed, but not heated. Like I did not really heat this. A lot of times I'm going to eat the ensaïmada, I will heat it in the microwave for like 15 seconds, and that heat makes it super soft. But I don't think that's something we'll be able to do at the new shop as well, especially if we have a volume. So I had this one normally, and I think it still has really nice, soft texture, slightly dry, but I think that's because this, this particular one was made on Thursday, frozen, delivered to me, thawed, frozen Saturday night, kept frozen all day yesterday, and then I took it out around 8:30 to just sit out, and so it has gone through temperature abuse. If you were to take it, make it, freeze it, and then to use it after it's been frozen the first time, it should be fine. But this has been subjected to freezing like 3 times. Yeah, I think definitely I'd like to have it a little bit more on the sweeter side. Also, another problem with having these small, and this is not something that this is just a function of, if you can see that, you'll see these are the shredded queso de bola. And the thing about this, when you shred it to this point, and you're doing all this like time temperature abuse, you're also keeping it out in the open for like a day at a time, you're going to lose some of the moisture that's in the cheese. It's going to start to dry out. So it's a little bit, some of these shreds are a little bit dry. So these are things that I'm doing for your benefit. You know, we want to try doing these things. Part of this is we're doing this kind of abuse to the product because we want to see how it performs. You know, what can it take? What can it take? What things happen, and when does it start to degrade to the point that we really don't think that it's at optimal, and we wouldn't want to serve it. Now, of course, I want to serve as much as I can because otherwise I'll have ensaïmada that I'll have to eat by myself. And that's not a good thing. It's a good thing, but it's not a good thing. So make Centerville cookies. You know, I was just I was thinking about that the other day. But you know, at Centerville cookies, the problem with Centerville cookies, right? The problem with Centerville, well, let's say, and by extension, the problem with Centerville cookies is that it's a difficult product to make. A lot of production time, and a lot of cost. You know, if you go to Manila and you buy at these places like the one that was in the video from Dumaguete, they you know, their cost structure is so much different, so much less in many ways than here. So it's like it makes sense to, I mean, you can do it for a relatively low price, but here it's more difficult to keep those price costs under control. But we'll see. There's always something. Now, one thing we're not doing at the new space is, unlike the previous Spro's, we will not be building a kitchen. Like, we're not planning on making a facility that can bake. Like, you know, at the old place in Hamden, we had a baking kitchen, so we bake pretty much everything in house except for the laminated dough product, which is a great way to move forward and you know, create new products and keep your control over the product. And by control, I mean, like, the cost savings is a little bit part of that equation, of course, cost control. But really, then we can do whatever back then we could do whatever we want and really just go as deep as we want, buy whatever ingredients, you know. And for me, it was always like, let's get like the most high end ingredients possible. Let's really go deep into it. But Now we're trying to balance that, right? Now my hands are all sticky and dirty. So that's the one downside about eating ensaïmada, because it's using butter as one of its, coatings. It gets on your hands. It's a little bit sticky. It's also like you have that feeling of when you try to rinse off butter without soap. It's all like, all right. Well, I guess that's pretty much it for today. Then there's our ensaïmada, really nicely. I mean, I really like this product overall. I think the baker is really great. Just met the baker the other day and had a nice conversation. And yeah, maybe if we can find a way to just enhance that sweetness a little bit, to bring the balance, I think that would be. I think it's a great ensaïmada that's pretty much like 99% to what would be great, I think. And that little bit of sugar, I think will be perfect. All right, well, that's all that I have for you today. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'll be back again tomorrow on the Coffee Q&A, 10 a.m. As always, we'll be doing more. If you have questions, comments, suggestions for future videos, leave them in the comments down below. And we need a signature pastry. I think this might be one of them, right? The other, since you're local, the other one that we're looking at the one I've been talking to is also another bakery called Ovenbird to do the majority of the stuff. I really like the Ovenbird. I went to a coffee place Saturday, who had a different local bakery that I also liked. But there was something about the pastry that just didn't. It was super nicely done. Like the pastry was super nice. It's very pretty. It's very ornate. It's very well executed. Like it looks delicious. It has nice texture. It has nice flavor. But there's something about it that I wasn't like, it's awesome, right? Like I want it to be like, this is awesome. And it kind of reminds me of the experience that I had at this particular bakery. It was great. Like it's impressive as all hell. But it just wasn't like, I'm eating the pastry and I'm like, this is awesome. I want it to be awesome, right? That's what I'm looking for. Mom, good to see you, man. Have a good one. And how are you holding up with Ramadan? I know these are probably not the great videos to watch during this time of fasting. But yeah, hope you're doing well. Hope you hang in there. All right, so back again tomorrow, 10 a.m. And yeah, there it is. Uh-oh. Well, let's stop. All right. All right, see you next time.